A mystery interstellar object that has come from beyond our solar system.
3I Atlas is arriving at Mars, and NASA's silence may be the loudest signal of all. The interstellar object is not a distant forecast anymore. It is already inside the inner solar system, cutting a path that looks more deliberate than random, heading straight toward Mars. Its coma is swelling, its tail twists at unnatural angles, and its orbit resembles a guided trajectory more than the scatter of debris. Yet, the very institutions tasked with explaining cosmic mysteries remain quiet. There are no press briefings, no televised warnings, no global countdowns. Only scraps of confirmation buried deep in technical archives. Acknowledgments that the orbit is real, that the approach is imminent, but nothing about what it means. That silence is louder than any statement. From the moment Atlas crossed Jupiter's orbit, it began to disobey the rules. Instead of waiting for the sun's heat to stir it awake, it flared early, brightening long before models allowed. The pattern of its journey feels calculated. Its inclination is just 5 degrees off the planetary plane, nearly coplanar with the orbits of Earth, Mars, and the others. Interstellar objects usually plunge steeply into our system. Atlas instead glides along a corridor that mirrors our own spaceflight paths. Mars is about to become the theater of this encounter, and while the public is left in the dark, the instruments are not. The James Webb Space Telescope has locked onto its spectral trail. Hubble's cameras follow its halo of dust. At Mars, orbiters like the Trace Gas Orbiter and Mars Express have retuned spectrometers, searching not for pretty images, but for anomalies, organics, isotopes, strange gas ratios. These instruments are preparing for something unusual, whether officials admit it or not. And unusual is exactly what they find. The coma does not behave like a natural comet's. Some particles appear denser, slower to disperse, as if something holds them together. Under certain views, the tail points back toward the sun, resisting radiation pressure instead of flowing away from it. Webb's instruments detect compounds that should not still exist in pristine form. Fragile organics, silicates, carbon-based molecules that should have been broken down long ago. Yet here they are, preserved as though protected.
There may be a possibility that there's intelligent life moving this object our way.
On October 3rd, 3I Atlas will pass within 29 million kilometers from Mars. And we have several orbiters around Mars. One of them is the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter that NASA launched that can resolve.
Hubble adds another contradiction. The amount of dust spewing from the object does not match its estimated size. Either the nucleus is far larger than believed, or something deep inside is unnaturally active, venting material with unknown force. The light curve only deepens the mystery. Instead of steadily brightening as it nears the sun, ATLAS flickers. It dims, surges, stalls, and flares again. These are not the rhythms of passive ice warming in sunlight. They resemble cycles, something alive, something pulsing. From Mars, instruments confirm bursts of carbon dioxide and diatomic carbon. But the emissions are not steady. They appear and vanish, episodic like signals. Not random jets, but pulses. Behind the curtain, silence hardens. Researchers leak fragments of their unease. Words like anomalous, peculiar, unclassified appear in private notes. No one dares to write the word artificial, but the fear clings to their language. Meanwhile, Earth is about to lose sight. In days, ATLAS will slip behind the sun, hidden during its most active phase. The moment when fragmentation might occur, when brightness might spike, when its nucleus could reveal its nature, Earth will be blind. Mars will still see it, but data will come back slowly, filtered, incomplete. The most crucial chapter may pass unseen. And this timing feels too perfect. too deliberate. If Atlas is just a comet, why ignite early? Why follow a flat, precise path? Why pulse instead of outgas steadily? Why carry compounds preserved against time itself? Why eject dust in volumes inconsistent with its size?
We've got some fresh images of 3I Atlas, a third ever interstellar object observed from Earth, currently racing through our solar system now. Astronomers have captured that moment live, streaming in real time around the globe of them watching all of this. Take a look at this.
Oh, everybody. Oh, nice. Yes, look at that bad boy.
One astrophysicist refuses to ignore these questions. Years ago, he suggested Oumuamua might have been more than a rock, and now he points at Atlas with the same suspicion. He cites its deliberate-seeming trajectory, its spectral anomalies, its unnatural ignition. He calls for probes to intercept, even urging NASA to redirect Juno. His appeals are ignored. The agencies stand firm. It's a comet. An unusual one, perhaps, but nothing more. And yet, silence itself becomes the message. The closer Atlas comes to Mars, the less it resembles random rubble, and the more it feels like something else. Something that resists categories. Something that watches as much as it is watched. Because when silence stretches this long, it stops being absence. It becomes intent. October 31st, 2025 is the date that matters most. On that day, 3I Atlas will reach perihelion, the closest point to the Sun, where temperatures surge beyond reason, where ice cannot exist, where dust evaporates in seconds, and fragile bodies collapse under gravity's pull. Every comet that has faced this crucible has been forced to reveal its strength, or its weakness. Many disintegrate in a flash. Some erupt spectacularly. A rare few emerge intact. For Atlas, all three fates remain possible. If it fractures, scattering shards across the solar wind, the fragments may expose its interior layers of ancient ice, trapped chemistry, maybe molecules that tell us about conditions before our own sun was born. But such knowledge would come at the cost of losing the messenger forever. If it erupts violently, glowing so intensely that its coma swells in seconds and burns bright enough to pierce even solar glare, it could force science to rewrite models of outgassing, energy release, and volatile behavior. And if it survives, gliding through the furnace unchanged, then questions about its resilience and about intent will grow louder than ever. Earth may not see the truth as it unfolds. As Atlas slips behind the Sun, our instruments will be blinded. Hubble and Webb cannot risk turning their optics too close to the solar disk. Ground-based telescopes will be overwhelmed. Only solar sentinels like SOHO and STEREO may glimpse indirect shadows. Mars, with its fleet of orbiters, will still watch, but signals will be partial, delayed, and filtered through narrow transmission windows. The decisive moment may pass while we are blind. Even now, the object refuses to behave like natural debris. Its emissions are not steady. Bursts of carbon dioxide appear and vanish. Carbon compounds surge, then collapse as though regulated. Its light curve flickers with irregular rhythms, brightening, stalling, dimming, then surging again. These are not the smooth arcs of passive sublimation. They resemble patterns. They resemble cycles. The coma shelters fragile molecules that should have broken apart long ago. Organic signatures appear pristine, as though frozen in protective conditions that kept time at bay. Silicates glint in Webb's data, unchanged since they left their birthplace around another star. Hubble's images still show more dust than its estimated nucleus can explain. Either the nucleus is far larger than predicted, or something beneath its surface drives activity with a force we cannot yet measure. And the orbit itself continues to disturb scientists. Its tilt is almost flat, sliding along the same corridor spacecraft use when guided by mission planners. Interstellar debris should come in steep, chaotic, unpredictable. Atlas drifts with elegance, as though following waypoints. In leaked communications, scientists use words they avoid in public. Unclassified, peculiar, unresolved. Careful synonyms for what they cannot bring themselves to write. Artificial. No one wants to be the first to say it, but no one can ignore how neatly the anomalies align. Silence becomes its own signal. The agencies refuse to answer, and in that refusal lies its own form of message. A message that leaves the public guessing, filling the void with speculation while the truth is kept behind closed doors. As perihelion nears, the stakes sharpen. If Atlas disintegrates, the fragments may teach us something of its composition. But the story ends there. If it erupts brilliantly, a new chapter in cometary physics will open. But it may still leave the deepest questions unresolved. And if it survives, if it endures the sun's fire untouched, then survival itself becomes the loudest signal of all. Because rubble does not plan, debris does not navigate, chance does not mimic intent. Survival in such extremes would demand explanation beyond the comfort of natural law. And yet, perhaps the most haunting possibility is not about what Atlas is, but about what it represents. If its pulses are cycles, if its emissions are timed, if its path is chosen rather than random, then maybe it is not only passing through. Maybe it is watching. Maybe the silence is not about what we are told, but about what it is seeing. Because this encounter is not only about a comet, or a rock, or debris from another star. It is about perspective, about whether we are the ones observing the visitor, or the ones being observed by it. Once Atlas passes the sun, the story will move quickly. If it breaks apart, its fragments will scatter and fade. If it erupts, its coma will swell and then collapse. If it survives, it will speed outward toward Jupiter, then the edge of the solar system, vanishing into interstellar darkness, never to return. One pass, one window, one chance. But even as it disappears, the questions will not. Why did it ignite early? Why did its orbit mimic our mission profiles? Why did its emissions pulse like a heartbeat? Why did silence surround it when answers were needed most? Perhaps Atlas is only a comet behaving in unfamiliar ways, another riddle of chemistry and chance. But if so, why does it feel like more? Why does its presence seem intentional? Why does its silence mirror our own? The truth is that this object, whatever it is, has already left its mark. It has reminded us that not everything in the sky can be reduced to ordinary categories. That some visitors carry questions instead of answers. And that silence itself can be a message.
3I/ATLAS is arriving at Mars, and what follows may change how we see the universe.